To the people of the world, a new voice rises from the heart of Africa, one filled with hope, strength, and determination. This voice speaks not just of change, but of transformation, not merely of dreams, but of action. It carries the stories of countless generations who have endured hardships, yet remained resilient. It echoes the spirit of a continent rich in culture, diversity, and potential. This new voice calls for unity, urging all to recognize the power that lies in coming together across borders and differences. It speaks of innovation and progress, inviting the world to witness the creativity and talent that flow abundantly through African lands. It demands respect and equality, seeking a future where the contributions of Africa are honored and valued on the global stage. It is a voice that champions education and opportunity for all, understanding that true progress is rooted in knowledge and empowerment. It embraces the youth as the architects of tomorrow, inspiring them to dream boldly and to build with courage. It acknowledges the challenges ahead, but faces them with unwavering optimism and resolve. This voice reminds the world that Africa is not a place of problems to be solved by others, but a vibrant partner with solutions to offer. It calls on the global community to listen, to engage, and to collaborate in forging pathways toward shared prosperity and peace. In this moment, a new chapter begins, a chapter where Africa's voice is heard clearly, proudly, and powerfully. It is a voice that demands to be seen not just as a continent of promise, but as a continent of achievement, leadership, and hope for a brighter future for all humanity. A new voice is emerging from Africa, one that carries with it a powerful sense of hope, strength, and unwavering determination. This voice is not merely a call for change, but a declaration of transformation and decisive action. It is born out of the experiences of generations who have faced adversity, yet never lost their spirit or their belief in a better future. This voice reflects the resilience of a continent that has endured many challenges, but has also shown remarkable courage and creativity in overcoming them. It is a voice that insists on being heard, a voice that speaks for millions who envision an Africa defined not by its struggles, but by its boundless potential. This new voice embodies hope because it believes in the possibility of a brighter tomorrow. It envisions a continent where economic opportunities flourish, where communities thrive, and where individuals can pursue their dreams without being hindered by poverty or injustice. It is a voice that looks beyond the current difficulties to see the vast resources, talents, and innovative capacities that exist across the continent. It understands that Africa is home to some of the fastest-growing economies, dynamic cities, and a youthful population eager to shape their own destiny. This hope is not naive optimism. It is a grounded belief based on the progress already made and the promising signs of what is yet to come. Strength defines this voice because it rises from a history marked by struggle and perseverance. For centuries, Africa has faced colonization, exploitation, and various forms of inequality. Despite these burdens, the people have continued to fight for their rights, their freedom, and their dignity. This strength is evident in the way communities have preserved their cultures, languages, and traditions, even under pressure to conform or assimilate. It is seen in the resilience of individuals who work tirelessly to improve their lives and those around them. This voice is a testament to the collective power of a continent that refuses to be defined by hardship, but instead chooses to define itself by resilience and courage. Determination fuels this voice because it knows that transformation will not happen by chance. It requires intentional efforts, bold leadership, and the commitment of everyone involved. This determination manifests in the drive to improve governance, build sustainable economies, and foster social justice. It is visible in the push for better education systems that equip young people with the skills they need to thrive in a changing world. It is found in the pursuit of technological innovation and entrepreneurship that can unlock new possibilities and create jobs. This determination insists on moving beyond rhetoric to concrete actions that produce real results. It understands that the path to transformation may be challenging, but remains steadfast in the belief that progress is attainable. This voice is also a call to the global community to recognize and engage with Africa as a partner in development and growth. It challenges outdated perceptions and stereotypes that have long painted the continent in a negative light. Instead, it presents a narrative of empowerment and collaboration, inviting the world to listen and work alongside Africa's people. This voice emphasizes that solutions to global challenges, such as climate change, health crises, and economic inequality, require inclusive approaches that incorporate Africa's unique perspectives and contributions. It seeks mutual respect and equitable partnerships based on shared values and goals. Furthermore, this new voice champions unity within the continent itself. It recognizes that Africa's diversity, often seen as a challenge, can be a source of strength when harnessed properly. It encourages cooperation between nations, communities, and individuals to build a more integrated and prosperous future. It values the power of collective action in addressing common issues like poverty, conflict, and infrastructure development. This unity is essential for creating a stable environment where people can live safely, businesses can grow, and societies can flourish. In sum, this emerging African voice is a beacon of hope, resilience, and purposeful action. It embodies the spirit of a continent ready to write a new chapter, one defined by progress, dignity, and the realization of dreams. It is a voice that speaks not only for Africa's people, but for the entire world, reminding us all that the future is shaped by those who dare to imagine it and work relentlessly to bring it to life. This voice calls on everyone to join in the journey toward transformation, knowing that the best is yet to come. This new voice emerging from Africa calls powerfully for unity and collaboration across borders, recognizing that the continent's true strength lies in its incredible diversity and vast potential. Africa is a land of many nations, cultures, languages, and traditions, each with its own unique story and contribution. Yet this diversity should not be a source of division or conflict. Rather, it must be embraced as a foundation for building a stronger, more prosperous future together. The call for unity is an urgent and necessary response to the challenges that have often kept the continent fragmented, preventing it from fully realizing its possibilities. It is a reminder that only through cooperation can Africa harness the full power of its people and resources. Unity means transcending historical divisions, whether they be colonial-era borders that split communities, ethnic or cultural differences, or political disagreements. It means fostering a spirit of solidarity and mutual respect among all African nations and peoples. The continent's richness in languages, customs, and ways of life is a source of great pride, but it also demands efforts to build bridges rather than walls. This voice urges leaders and citizens alike to prioritize dialogue, understanding, and shared goals above all else by focusing on common interests such as economic development, peace, education, and health. African nations can move past rivalry and mistrust to become partners in progress. Collaboration is the practical expression of this unity. It involves working together across borders to create networks that support trade, innovation, and cultural exchange. African countries have enormous natural resources, but these assets are often underutilized due to fragmentation and lack of coordination. By pooling resources and expertise, nations can develop infrastructure like roads, railways, and energy systems that connect markets and communities. This interconnectedness not only boosts economic growth, but also fosters a sense of shared destiny. When countries collaborate, they become stronger and more competitive globally, able to negotiate better trade deals and attract investment that benefits all. This voice also highlights the importance of regional organizations and initiatives that promote integration. Bodies such as the African Union and regional economic communities play a critical role in facilitating cooperation on policy, security, and development issues. Their work in harmonizing regulations, reducing trade barriers, and promoting peacekeeping missions demonstrates the practical benefits of collaboration. The call is for continued support and strengthening of these institutions so they can effectively address continental challenges and opportunities. This requires political will, transparency, and the involvement of civil society and private sectors, ensuring that the benefits of unity reach every level of society. Beyond government efforts, this call emphasizes the power of people-to-people connections. It encourages Africans to embrace the idea of a shared identity that goes beyond nationality. Youth exchanges, cultural festivals, and educational partnerships help build friendships and networks that break down stereotypes and foster empathy. Such interactions cultivate a sense of belonging to a larger African family, inspiring collective pride and responsibility. This grassroots unity is essential for sustainable development as it nurtures a culture of cooperation and mutual support. The voice also acknowledges that unity and collaboration are vital for addressing common challenges such as poverty, conflict, climate change, and public health crises. No single country can tackle these issues alone, but together, African nations can develop solutions tailored to their unique contexts. Sharing knowledge, technology, and resilience increases resilience and accelerates progress. This cooperative approach not only benefits Africa, but also contributes to global stability and development, reinforcing the continent's role as a key player on the world stage. In calling for unity and collaboration, this voice rejects divisiveness and exclusion. It affirms that Africa's future depends on inclusivity, embracing all ethnic groups, genders, and communities. Only by working together and valuing everyone's contributions can the continent unlock its full potential. This unity is not about erasing differences, but about celebrating them while building a collective vision for prosperity and peace. Ultimately, this new voice envisions an Africa where borders become bridges, diversity becomes strength, and collaboration becomes the foundation of progress. It inspires hope that by coming together, Africans can create a future marked by economic empowerment, social justice, and lasting harmony. This call resonates not only within the continent, but across the world, inviting all to witness and support Africa's journey toward unity and shared success. The message is clear. Through unity and collaboration, Africa's rich diversity and boundless potential will be fully realized, transforming the continent and the lives of its people for generations to come. This emerging voice from Africa firmly demands respect and equality, calling for a world that recognizes and values the continent's vast contributions across all spheres. For far too long, Africa has been misunderstood, overlooked, or unfairly judged through narrow lenses shaped by outdated stereotypes and misrepresentations. This voice rejects those limited perspectives and insists on a new narrative, one that acknowledges Africa's richness, achievements, and rightful place on the global stage. It is a demand not only for respect, but for genuine equality in how Africa is seen, treated, and engaged with by the international community. Respect in this context means more than polite acknowledgement. It involves recognizing Africa as a partner with equal footing, capable of shaping global conversations and decisions. It means honoring the continent's history, culture, and innovations without reducing them to simplistic or exotic notions. Africa's contributions to art, science, technology, philosophy, and governance have been profound throughout history, yet these have often been marginalized or ignored. This voice asserts that Africa's past and present accomplishments deserve full appreciation. The world must move beyond token recognition and engage with Africa in ways that reflect its true value and potential. Equality is a cornerstone of this demand. It calls for fair treatment in international institutions, trade agreements, and diplomatic relations. Africa's nations seek partnerships based on mutual benefit rather than one-sided advantage. For too long, economic arrangements have disproportionately favored others, leaving African countries to grapple with the consequences. This voice insists on equitable terms that respect sovereignty and promote sustainable development. It also demands fair representation in global organizations where critical decisions are made, ensuring Africa's perspectives and interests shape policies that affect the continent and the wider world. This voice also highlights the importance of addressing historical injustices and their lingering effects. Colonization, exploitation, and systemic discrimination have left deep scars that continue to impact development and global perceptions. Recognizing this history is essential for building a future based on justice and mutual respect. The call is not only for apologies or symbolic gestures, but for meaningful actions that rectify imbalances and support Africa's growth on its own terms. This includes access to technology, fair trade opportunities, investment in infrastructure, and collaborative research and development initiatives. In addition, this voice challenges the often one-dimensional portrayal of Africa in media and popular culture. It demands more accurate and diverse representations that reflect the continent's complexity, vibrancy, and progress. Africa is home to booming cities, thriving businesses, world-class universities, and innovators who are reshaping industries globally. The stories of resilience, creativity, and leadership must be brought to the forefront, countering narratives that focus solely on poverty or conflict. Respect involves acknowledging these realities and sharing them widely, helping the world see Africa as it truly is, a continent full of promise and achievement. This voice is also a call for the global community to recognize the role Africa plays in addressing major global challenges. From climate change to public health, Africa's experience and solutions are critical. The continent is a source of vital natural resources, but also of innovative thinking and sustainable practices that can inform worldwide efforts. This voice insists on Africa's rightful place in shaping international policies and partnerships related to these issues. It demands that African experts and leaders be included in dialogues and decision-making processes at the highest levels, ensuring that solutions are inclusive and effective. Moreover, this demand for respect and equality extends to the realm of investment and economic cooperation. Africa's markets are dynamic and growing, with enormous potential for trade and development. This voice calls for international investors to engage responsibly and ethically, supporting local economies and communities rather than exploiting resources for short-term gain. It advocates for transparent partnerships that build capacity, create jobs, and foster innovation. In doing so, it envisions a new model of global economic interaction based on fairness, shared prosperity, and long-term commitment. Ultimately, this voice seeks a world where Africa's dignity is upheld, its contributions celebrated, and its people empowered. It calls on governments, businesses, and individuals everywhere to move beyond patronizing attitudes and recognize Africa as an equal partner in building the future. This respect and equality are not only moral imperatives, but practical necessities for global peace, stability, and progress. The call is clear. Africa demands to be seen and treated as it truly is, a continent of strength, creativity, and invaluable contributions to humanity's shared journey. This emerging voice from Africa passionately champions education and opportunity, recognizing them as fundamental pillars for empowering the continent's youth to become the architects of a brighter future. Education is more than just the acquisition of knowledge. It is the key to unlocking potential, breaking cycles of poverty, and enabling individuals to contribute meaningfully to society. This voice understands that investing in education is investing in the future, and it calls for renewed commitment to ensure that every young person has access to quality learning experiences that prepare them for the demands of a rapidly changing world. Education is seen as a powerful tool for transformation. It equips youth with critical thinking skills, creativity, and the confidence needed to navigate complex challenges and seize new opportunities. This voice emphasizes the importance of not only traditional academic learning, but also technical and vocational training that aligns with the needs of today's economies. It advocates for curricula that are relevant and forward-looking, incorporating digital literacy, entrepreneurship, and innovation to prepare young people for emerging industries. Education must be inclusive, accessible, and adaptable to ensure no one is left behind, regardless of gender, socioeconomic background, or geographic location. Opportunity goes hand in hand with education. Learning alone is not enough if young people do not have pathways to meaningful employment, entrepreneurship, or leadership roles. This voice calls for the creation of environments where opportunities abound, where youth can apply their skills, develop their talents, and contribute to their communities. It stresses the need for governments, the private sector, and civil society to collaborate in building ecosystems that support youth empowerment. These include mentorship programs, access to finance for startups, internships, and policies that encourage innovation and job creation. The youth of Africa represent one of the continent's greatest assets. They are vibrant, ambitious, and ready to take on the challenges of today and tomorrow. This voice recognizes their energy and potential as drivers of economic growth, social change, and technological advancement. Empowering youth means listening to their ideas, valuing their perspectives, and involving them in decision-making processes. It encourages youth-led initiatives and platforms where young people can express themselves, lead projects, and influence policies that affect their lives. By doing so, it nurtures a generation of leaders who are not only capable, but also deeply connected to the needs and aspirations of their communities. This voice also highlights the importance of addressing barriers that hinder youth empowerment. Issues such as unequal access to education, unemployment, and social exclusion disproportionately affect young people, particularly young women and those in rural areas. It calls for targeted interventions to remove these obstacles and create equitable conditions where all youth can thrive. This includes expanding infrastructure such as schools and internet connectivity, providing scholarships and financial aid, and fostering safe and supportive learning environments. Mental health and well-being are also crucial aspects, ensuring that young people are healthy and resilient as they pursue their goals. In addition, this voice sees education and opportunity as interconnected with broader development goals. Empowered youth contribute to stronger economies, healthier societies, and more inclusive governance. When young people are educated and given chances to succeed, they invest back into their communities, driving progress and innovation. This virtuous cycle benefits not only individuals, but entire nations and regions. The voice calls on international partners to support efforts that enhance education systems and youth empowerment initiatives, recognizing that Africa's future success is a shared global interest. The vision this voice promotes is one where every young African can dream freely and work toward those dreams without unnecessary barriers. It imagines a continent where education opens doors and opportunity lights the way, where young people rise as inventors, entrepreneurs, teachers, scientists, artists, and leaders. It calls for policies and investments that prioritize youth development and create sustainable pathways for growth. This voice urges society to see youth not as a problem to be managed, but as a vital resource to be nurtured and celebrated. Ultimately, this voice champions a future shaped by the aspirations and talents of young Africans. It calls for collective action to provide them with the tools, opportunities, and support they need to build better lives for themselves and their communities. It affirms that the hope of Africa's tomorrow lies in the hands of its youth today, and that by empowering them through education and opportunity, the continent will unlock its full potential and contribute dynamically to the world. This vision is not just a dream, it is a call to action for all who believe in the power of youth to create lasting change. This emerging voice from Africa openly acknowledges the many challenges that the continent faces, but approaches them with unwavering optimism and steadfast resolve. It understands that Africa's path is not without obstacles, ranging from economic disparities, political instability, and social inequalities to environmental threats and infrastructural deficits. Yet rather than allowing these challenges to define or deter, this voice embraces them as opportunities for growth, learning, and innovation. It carries a spirit of resilience that insists no difficulty is insurmountable when met with determination, creativity, and collaboration. This perspective is vital because it transforms challenges into catalysts for positive change, rather than sources of despair. The voice recognizes that many issues confronting Africa are complex and deeply rooted, often linked to historical factors such as colonization and global economic imbalances. It does not shy away from these realities, but confronts them head-on with honesty and clarity, At the same time, it refuses to accept defeat or to be trapped in a narrative of victimhood. Instead, it highlights stories of progress and breakthroughs that illustrate the continent's capacity to overcome adversity, whether it is advancements in technology, strides in governance reforms, or improvements in healthcare and education. Africa's successes serve as proof that optimism paired with action yields tangible results. What distinguishes this voice is its resolve, the determination to persist even when faced with setbacks or slow progress. It understands that transformation is often a gradual process requiring patience, perseverance, and continuous effort. This resolve is evident in the commitment of governments, communities, and individuals who are working tirelessly to improve living conditions, create jobs, and promote peace. It is reflected in the rise of young entrepreneurs, activists, and innovators who refuse to be limited by circumstances and instead create new opportunities for themselves and others. This spirit of determination inspires confidence both within Africa and among global partners that meaningful change is achievable. Importantly, this voice frames Africa not as a continent burdened by problems to be solved solely by external actors, but as an active partner with solutions to offer the world. It highlights the wealth of indigenous knowledge, creativity, and resilience that Africans bring to the table. From sustainable farming techniques and renewable energy innovations to digital technologies and community-led development models, Africa is generating ideas and approaches that can address local challenges and contribute globally. This perspective calls for recognition of Africa's agency and leadership in crafting solutions tailored to its unique context, rather than imposing one-size-fits-all answers from outside. This voice also stresses the value of collaboration and partnership. It acknowledges that while Africa must lead its own development, working alongside international allies can amplify efforts and create synergies. It calls for partnerships based on respect, equality, and shared goals, where Africa's expertise and priorities guide cooperation. This approach ensures that interventions are effective, sustainable, and aligned with the continent's vision for its future. It also emphasizes the importance of building strong institutions and fostering inclusive governance as foundations for stability and progress. Facing challenges with optimism does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending they do not exist. Instead, it means maintaining hope and confidence in the capacity to overcome them while taking practical steps to address root causes. This voice encourages innovation and adaptability, urging individuals and communities to find new ways to tackle problems, whether through technology, education, policy reform, or grassroots activism. It celebrates resilience not only as a response to hardship, but as a proactive force driving transformation and growth. The voice also calls on the youth to be at the forefront of this optimistic resolve. With their energy, creativity, and fresh perspectives, young people are seen as vital agents of change who can help turn challenges into opportunities. Empowering youth to participate fully in social, economic, and political life strengthens Africa's ability to navigate its path forward with confidence. This voice envisions a future where Africa's young leaders are not only problem solvers, but also visionaries who shape a continent defined by possibility rather than limitation. Ultimately, this voice embodies a powerful belief in Africa's potential and a commitment to working through difficulties with courage and hope. It reminds the world that Africa is a continent of action, resilience, and innovation, one that faces challenges not with resignation, but with a determined spirit to find solutions and build a better future. This outlook inspires a collective sense of responsibility and partnership, inviting all to support and join in Africa's journey towards sustainable development and shared prosperity. It is a message of confidence and conviction. Despite the hurdles, Africa is ready and able to lead itself and contribute meaningfully to the global community. This emerging voice from Africa calls on the world to listen carefully, engage sincerely, and collaborate meaningfully in the pursuit of shared prosperity and lasting peace. It is an invitation to move beyond distant observation or occasional sympathy, urging global partners to become active participants in a relationship grounded in respect, mutual benefit, and common humanity. This call is rooted in the understanding that the challenges and opportunities facing Africa are interconnected with those of the wider world, and that only through genuine cooperation can we achieve a future where all people thrive in dignity and security. Listening is the first and most crucial step. This voice asks the world to hear Africa's stories, experiences, and perspectives without prejudice or preconceived notions. It emphasizes that Africa's diversity means there is no single narrative to be imposed. Rather, the continent is composed of many voices, each offering valuable insights and lessons. By listening attentively, the global community can better understand the complexities, aspirations, and innovations emerging from Africa. It is through this open-mindedness that effective partnerships can be built, partnerships that are informed by real needs and grounded in shared goals. Listening also means acknowledging past mistakes and being willing to engage in honest dialogue about how to move forward together. Engagement goes beyond passive observation to active involvement. This voice calls on governments, organizations, businesses, and individuals worldwide to deepen their commitment to working with Africa in meaningful ways. It encourages investment, not just in financial terms, but in knowledge exchange, capacity building, and cultural understanding. Engagement means supporting African-led initiatives that foster economic development, education, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. It involves creating opportunities for collaboration that empower communities and respect their agency rather than imposing external agendas. This voice urges the global community to recognize that Africa is not a recipient of aid alone, but a dynamic partner with valuable contributions to make in solving global challenges. Collaboration is the natural extension of listening and engagement. This voice envisions partnerships based on equality, transparency, and shared responsibility. It understands that the world's biggest issues, climate change, pandemics, conflict, and economic inequality, cannot be solved in isolation. Africa has a critical role to play in these efforts, offering unique perspectives, resources, and innovations. By working together, countries and peoples can leverage their strengths to create solutions that are sustainable and inclusive. Collaboration also means building trust through consistent and respectful interaction, recognizing that long-term success depends on relationships that honor all parties involved. The call for shared prosperity highlights the idea that economic growth and development must benefit everyone, not just a privileged few. This voice insists on inclusive progress that reduces inequalities within and between nations. It advocates for fair trade, responsible investment, and policies that support entrepreneurship, job creation, and innovation across the continent. Shared prosperity is seen as a pathway to social stability and improved quality of life, where access to education, healthcare, and opportunity is expanded. This voice encourages global partners to work with Africa to build resilient economies that can withstand shocks and foster sustainable livelihoods for all. Peace is equally central to this call. This voice recognizes that peace is both a foundation and a result of development. Without stability, it is impossible to achieve lasting prosperity. It urges the world to support efforts that promote conflict resolution, good governance, and the protection of human rights. Peacebuilding requires collaboration at many levels, local, national, regional, and international, and this voice calls for a united approach that respects the sovereignty and cultural contexts of African nations. It also highlights the role of youth and civil society in peace initiatives, recognizing their power to foster reconciliation and social cohesion. This voice invites the world to move beyond charity or short-term assistance toward partnerships rooted in solidarity and shared futures. It reminds us that in an interconnected world, the well-being of one region affects all. Challenges such as climate change, migration, and global health crises are collective concerns that demand collective action. By listening, engaging, and collaborating with Africa, the world not only supports a continent on the rise, but also invests in a more peaceful, prosperous global community. In essence, this voice is a call for a new kind of global relationship. one built on respect, partnership, and mutual advancement. It envisions a future where Africa's growth and stability contribute to global peace and prosperity, and where all nations work together to overcome the barriers that divide us. This is a call to act with intention, empathy, and commitment, recognizing that together we can build a world that offers opportunity, security, and dignity for all. The message is clear and urgent. The time has come to listen, to engage, and to collaborate in forging a shared path toward a better tomorrow.